Hi there, Libra. So this is a pick a card about what your Akashic Records want to tell you, Libra, about 2021. So just before we go into the piles, let me just tell you quickly how you can work this. We'll do a little bit of the astrology, then choose your number, and then boom, straight into it. So the first thing is you can use this for your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, but also consider that you do have a solar return chart, which is a chart that you have new on every birthday, and you also have a progress chart, which is moving you 1 degree every year through the zodiac. And your solar return and your progress chart, particularly your progress chart, can also have a huge influence on you. So you might find that you're not sun, moon, or rising anything to do with Libra, but in your natal, in your original birth chart, but you may find in your solar return or your progress chart that you do now have really strong Libra energy. So just to consider that also. And then also, just so that you know, with these readings, I've designed them so that you can come to them at any time in 2021 and you'll get a message that will be of relevance to you in some way. So you might find that at the beginning of the year you choose one pile, but towards the middle of the year you actually come back and you choose a different pile. That's totally cool. This is totally also the way that I've designed these in this kind of matrix of the Akashic Records. So know that it also works like that. And then the other final way to know that these can work, and this really allows you to make it all a complete wild card, which I friggin' love. I love wild cards. I always have done. And particularly because the wild card is Uranus energy, and Uranus is strong in 2021. And this will also mean that you have to tap into your own intuition a lot more. And what you can do is, if you think of a question that you want an answer to, or with whatever's occurring in your life when you come, you can actually ask your intuition, which zodiac sign has the best guidance for me, and which pile in that zodiac sign has the actual message for me. And if you can trust your intuition enough, you might say have nothing to do with Taurus, but your intuition tells you you need to go to the Taurus Akashic record reading and it's pile number 2. And you go there and you might find that's the exact answer that you need. So just know that I've also programmed in the matrix of the Akashic records for these readings to also be used in this kind of way. So basically, be flexible, do what you want with it, be creative, be dynamic. And then yeah, just basically trust yourself more than anyone else. This is really, really important. And also, I do feel for you guys, Libra, trusting yourself, particularly sun and moon. I think this is a really, really important thing, that you can just really access that Aries energy, which is across the opposite part of the chart from you, where you really are starting to get used to what instinctive response that you have with things and going with that without needing to consider all options, which I know for some of you might sound really either ridiculous or scary, but this is something that your soul is pushing you to do for sure, Libra, particularly sun and moon Libra. Anyway, okay, that's all I wanted to say for there. So now just quickly going into the astrology, only briefly, just so you've got an idea. So guys, just know, Libra, this is amazing in so many ways for air signs in 2021, because Mercury is going to be retrograde in all of the air signs, which I feel like means that you guys are going to get, and this is the word I'm hearing, a reboot to your systems, particularly a reboot to the neurological way that you process things. Is really what I'm hearing. How you process your past, your present, and also your future. It's all having a proper reboot, and I'm hearing an upgrade through all of the retrogrades within, and it first starts off in Aquarius, then I think it goes into Gemini, and then the very last one, Libra, for you guys is on September the 7th to November the 3rd. That's when it's actually Mercury goes retrograde in your sign. Know that that will be a really important time, so pay attention to what happens in September, October, and November. And also then just know, not long after you come out of the Mercury retrograde in Libra in November, we then have a lunar eclipse in Taurus. And I do feel this is significant for a lot of you guys. Definitely to do with your own sense of authority and self-worth is something that I'm really, really hearing. And I feel like that's something that you're going to be really growing into in 2021, even more than you already have done. And then also the other cool thing for you guys with your air signs is we have North Node in an air sign in Gemini. So again, this was sort of energy that is going to be encouraging you to really reach, your potential. And I actually did hear release your potential as well. And I'm hearing it as releasing your potential into the world. And then the other thing that's really big for all air signs is that we actually have this amazing Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius, which is going to start a new 20-year cycle. This happens at the end of 2020. This is a big deal for all of you air signs. It's just going to... Guys, you are going to get more flow. Things are going to... I'm hearing things are going to be more on your level. So often I think a lot of air signs can really perceive reality in a really unique and precise and clear way. And I just really feel that you'll find a lot of life will start slowly over time matching to the frequency that your mind operates at, is what I'm hearing. So I suppose essentially you're going to feel more part of this earthly reality in some way, or you'll feel like things just go more your way, or you'll feel like more of life is starting to make sense. I do want to say though, there will be shake-ups and shake-downs in 2021. So I'm talking about this as the long term as well, because we're just going into this air cycle, and we're also just going into another 200-year air cycle on another level too. So bearing in mind, this is kind of, we're babies with this energy, so it will just take a bit of time to fully like hit in the groove and the momentum, which will therefore make things a lot easier and make a lot more sense to you guys. And also I feel like a lot of air signs and air sign professions and air sign just things that are contributed to the world will be massively recognized so much more, of having like so much more value than ever before. So I feel like that is really positive for you Libras, also any Geminis and also Aquariuses. But obviously it's all going to impact us in different ways, and depending on your career and stuff like that, it might also massively enhance in that kind of way. So I just feel like all of these things are super important. Now there's the one thing as well that I did really want to say that really flagged up to me, and my guys were saying this, is okay, Libras, just be really mindful of illusions and things not always being the way that they really are, particularly to do with your day-to-day routines and your day-to-day reality and what you subscribe to as your day-to-day reality. The reason why I'm saying this is because Neptune is in your 6th house, and even though, you know, it will be there for a while, and it's probably been there for a while, it's just a case of, and just really hearing this is significant for 2021. Actually, for all of us, like illusions and smokes and mirrors is a really big deal. But just really pay attention to this very much in your day-to-day routines and your day-to-day interactions. And also, if any of you guys are employed, pay attention that not everything might always be as it seems within your employment. In the same way, if any of you actually employ people, again, pay attention that things might not always be as they seem. Now, I do not believe that this is a problem, but it's just really asking you to step up and become more, I'm hearing like more clinical with how you perceive things, which I do feel like Libras, you will so easily be able to do this. The only question, Libra, is will you be able to trust the insight that you intellectually and intuitively get? And will you trust it enough to act on it? I think that's more something that will come into play. So just pay attention to that as well. And then also know, with the North Node and the South Node in the houses of, the North Node is in the 9th house. This is of exploration and going into the unknown. And the 3rd house, the South is, sorry, your South Node, so everything to do with the past and that you're letting go of, is in your 3rd house. And also you do have Pluto in your 4th house of home. What I just say for this is, so a lot of you Libras, particularly ascendant, so rising, the ascendant Libras, you might find that within the next 18 months, your living situation is already quite different, and you might find essentially that you have moved. If you haven't physically moved, then I guarantee you've had a psychological, like almost change of beliefs, very much to do with your deepest psychology, and especially what really makes you feel emotionally fulfilled and emotionally happy, and also emotionally stable. I do feel like where you're at to do that at the beginning of 2021 will be very, very different to where you're at the end of 2021, almost as if you've moved a great distance in your own, like I say, internal psychology, but very much as well the way that you see your ancestors, your lineage, your childhood home, what you actually believe is security, maybe even your relationship with food. All of these things I do really feel could have gone through, again, an upgrade, an upboot is what I'm hearing. I just keep seeing visions for you guys of technology. So whether you work in technology or not, I don't really think the message is necessarily about that, but you could also take it literal. But it very much feels like, metaphorically, it's like I'm really getting that you guys are going to start understanding how to hack the system, hack your own system as well, and to do it so much more effectively. And I just feel that life is really going to, well, let's put it this way, if you were in a game, you were going to shoot up like 3 levels over 2021. It's that kind of vibe that I'm getting. And I just feel like the reason that's going to happen is because you will start to get some more flow. Do know though that Uranus, the planet of upheaval and rebellion, but also geniusness, is going through your 8th house of deep transformation. So this also links into what I feel with you guys with your kind of psychological changes that you're going to undergo. But also you might find that there are, get used to having to get used to stuff is what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing this in terms of like, get used to things constantly changing, or get used to some big things occurring that kind of disrupt in some kind of way. But I'm hearing it's more of like a chaos theory thing where it disrupts to cause chaos, to then cause greater almost like uniform and within you, like greater structure within you is what I'm hearing. And this will be a longish process because Uranus will, for some of you, will already have been in your 8th house for a while, and I'm definitely talking about Libra risings ascendants here, and it will definitely be there for quite a few years yet, you know what I mean? So this is an ongoing process, but I feel like you'll be massively supported with this because it's just going to help ground you in a way that you really need to, essentially. And also just be mindful to do with relationships and one-on-ones. You have Chiron in that house of the 7th house of relating. You know, relationships are, I'm hearing like a real work in progress for you guys. That might sound a bit heavy, but I'm hearing it's more, your one-on-one relationships are really going to be encouraging you to really stand on your own 2 feet and really be independent. So however that falls for you, you'll find that life will encourage you through your one-on-one connections to really step into more autonomy and independence. So the less that you resist that and the more that you go with that, I do also feel like the easier everything will be. But that will also become easier by you, I'm hearing, breaking the chains of the past, particularly to do with family and childhood experiences. This is really, really important. And potentially as well, it depends which group you're in within this, but either to do with your female lineage or to do with your male lineage. And some of you that are, say, more advanced with your consciousness, I really feel like it's going to hit both at the same time. Your female and your male lineage, they'll both also be coming up. Then finally, Jupiter and Saturn is in your 5th house, which means I just feel like I'm hearing the words, there'll be a revolution within you to do with everything to do with creativity, children, what you're passionate about, your sex life, and your own creative projects. So any of those, and probably multiple of those, are going to, I'm hearing, getting revolutionized and stimulated. And I'm hearing they're going to crack you open, but in obviously a beautiful way, where it's just going to lead to many gifts. But it will be a process for sure, just like everything will be. But you know what, Libras, I know you've absolutely got this. And actually, I feel like a lot of the astrology that you have is going to be highly supportive for you in 2021. I'm really excited for you, Libras, because my brother's a Libra sun. And I'm actually a Libra rising in my progress chart. And one of my other really good friends, she's also a Libra sun. And I do feel like sometimes things have been a bit tricky for a while. The universe and life has been asking a lot of you without necessarily giving you much back. So the effort and the work that you might have put into certain things, you haven't really reaped those rewards yet. But I do really feel like that is something that's going to start to change from 2021 onwards. So I think that's awesome. Cool. Now, first of all, let me just choose a quick card, because I've done this for all of the piles, just to see what the Akashic Records generally want to say for all of you with this Libra energy for 2021. So let's see what we get. Oh wow, boom. I do really get this word, like I do keep hearing already, like boom, 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 boom. I was hearing that as I was talking to you, so I do feel like that means there's going to be quite a few changes coming up for you guys. But obviously, here we go. So we start off with a really big card here, the Devil. So I mean, the first thing that I'm really hearing with this is massively, massively about you getting out of potholes and restrictions, and you're not gonna, I'm hearing this word, you're not gonna be spooking yourself out to do with a direction that you really want to go into. So let's say if you're really trying to create something in your life and it hasn't been happening, I feel like some of this on a much deeper unconscious level is because you've almost been spooking yourself out about it, and I'm hearing that that's all going to go. I do really hear though that I am hearing the word discipline, like it's really going to be important that you're disciplining your mind, particularly because there's going to be so much air energy, so there could be so much mental stimulation, so you're absolutely going to have to discipline your mind to do with distractions. That's really, really important. But I do really get the feel of a real liberation coming out of this card. And the liberation is coming from you. Okay, this is really cool. I love this. I'm now seeing from your Akashic Records. Have you ever seen The Labyrinth with, I think it's Jennifer Connelly and, oh my goodness, you know, I can see his face so clearly. David Bowie, that's it. I'm really seeing the image of The Labyrinth. If you guys have not seen it, totally watch it, because there's so much about this that I can feel from this card for you. And there's a part in it, and I don't want to say where because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but there's a bit where it says, you have no power over me. And by realizing this person has no power over this other person, the whole game changes, the whole reality completely changes. And actually that's the really strong words that I'm getting here for you guys. What's really coming out for you guys in 2021 is that you'll realize that so many things, including beliefs and limitations that you put on yourself, you just realize that they have no power over you anymore. They have no power over you anymore. I really, really feel that. But you know what? I'm also just seeing a vision of Where's Wally as well right now, which is so random, but just one second. I'm seeing Where's Wally because it's telling me that it is really important though that you need to be standing out in your own, being authentic to you. And actually if certain people don't like that or don't get on with that, I know it's easier said than done, but it really is about doing your best to make sure that that doesn't still, that has no power over you. There we are again, that has no power over you. Like it's really important that you worry less about what other people feel and think, Libra. This is so, so important, because I am really hearing that 2021, it is about you. And that's kind of interesting because it's not like, well, I suppose the thing is because Chiron is in your 7th house and 7th house is the one-on-one relationships, that will mean that it will be doing an opposition to your 1st house, and your 1st house is all about the I am house. It's the Aries house. And I do feel like, you know, there will be challenges on the one-on-one relationship level sometimes, but those challenges are purely just to stimulate you to recognize that you are your own power. And this is really, really important. And that actually people come to pair up with you and work with you, not because essentially you need somebody to help you or support you. It's just because they're excited to collaborate with you. And I feel like that's a really big difference. So if anybody feels codependent on you or you feel codependent on them, that's just something for you to look into. Because my guides are also saying that that's also this big energy with the Devil card. It's you releasing all types of codependency, because once again, they have no power over you anymore, which I feel is really powerful. I totally love that. I mean, this will be transformative, Libra, for so many of you. If like this is something that you really nail in 2021, and it really will. I'm seeing your timeline completely split in directions, in totally different directions. When you really get this concept of you are your own power, you are your own authority. Like, you don't need others, but others do want to collaborate with you. Like, it's kind of like a subtle difference with all of it. And also with the Where's Wally thing that I saw, there was another thing about, again, just make sure that something might be a bit hidden within your day-to-day life. And it is important that you spot that. And I'm leaving it as broad and open as that, because it's going to be so different for all of you. But I suppose it's about being extra perceptive to do with your own health, your own well-being, your day-to-day routines, what happens at work, all of these kind of things. Because I feel like there's something hiding there that you need to shine light on. And by shining light on it, again, it's going to help you with this whole kind of liberation energy. Cool. So now, these are the piles that we're going for. So, this is pile number 1. Stone from the Shamanic Mezi, if you like this one. And then this is the crystal, and we will channel this when we go into the extended. It's a really pretty pink stone. Okay, then this is pile number 2 from the Shamanic Mezi. And then this is the crystal to go with it, another really pretty stone. I was really pulled to all really pretty crystals for you guys, Libra. Don't know if you can see the nice red colour, but it is really pretty. And then this is pile number 3. Stone from the Shamanic Mezi, and then this is the crystal. And I don't know if you can see this, but I always think it looks a little bit like a tree right in the middle. I don't know if you can see it. So I don't know if that might resonate with some of you. Cool, so I look forward to seeing you in your pile, and we'll first of all go into pile number 1. So hi Libra, so this is for all you guys that chose pile number 1 as holding the answer for what your Akashic Records wants to tell you about 2021. So, okay, for some of you, I'm feeling like some of you have felt like a rose between 2 thorns, and what I'm getting with that is it's a case of, I think you feel pressured by 2 potentially opposing forces, circumstances, people, situations. I don't know, it'll all be different for all of you, but there's something about that that's felt incredibly compressing and kind of suffocating for a long time. And I do feel like this is something that you're going to be liberated from by the end of 2021. And for some of you that don't do it in 2021, I'm hearing definitely by the end of 2023. Because this is like a process, but I'm hearing that you're doing awesome with it, and you just carry on doing with what you're doing. And I'm also here, they want me to tell you that this was never meant to be a quick fix. This was never ever meant to be a quick fix, because this was a level of self-mastery, and nothing to do with self-mastery is a quick fix or a quick solution. It's supposed to have taken time to help you fully evolve in all of these different ways. I do really feel like there's going to be lots of different mind situations that might be playing off for you in 2021. And for some of you where it isn't so much your mind going off and down multiple different pathways of what if, I feel like for some of you it might be very physically. You might actually end up going or being given many different situations that are seemingly in multiple different directions. And I suppose I'm seeing a bit of a maze is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a bit of a maze, and let me just go with this. I'm now also seeing, have you seen The Shining? That Stephen King book, but then obviously was done by Jack Nicholson, I think it is. And at the end, he's kind of like in a maze, and This kid's trying to run away. I think it's the kid, I can't really remember. But I'm being shown a kid anyway trying to run through this maze with this other person trying to come after them. And actually what I'm hearing is that when you stop running away from something in your life, it won't be able to find you. And I'm hearing that that is such a metaphor for something so much deeper for all of you. So when you stop running away from something in your life, the thing that you are running away from won't be able to find you. It's only that it never changes and that you never lose it because you're running and it just follows. I'm hearing the scent of you running. I'm also hearing that whatever this is that you're running away from or trying to run away from, and I do feel like it's metaphorical, remember, as well, is it's something about you having fear to do with it. And you know, like animals can smell fear. I mean, some humans can smell fear, but animals can definitely smell fear. And it's the fact that you're still vibrating at fear to do with something, which means whatever it is that you're trying to run away from keeps catching up and finding you, because it only stops finding you once you let go of that internal fear. And just to be really clear, I'm seeing this in so many different examples, like running away from an experience that you had as a child, which hasn't been fully integrated within you, running away from taking additional responsibility to do with something solo. It's something about that sort of energy. But equally, again, because there's so many of you, just really feel into yourself now. When I say, what is it that you are running away from? Let words or an image pop up into your mind and then go with that. And I am really hearing that if you feel really deep into it, you've got some fear to do with whatever this situation is. And by you changing you being fearful about whatever this is, that's the big moment of it all changing and you never having to run away from it again. In fact, you never ultimately in the end thinking of it or whatever, because then it becomes fully integrated within you. So just take that however that resonates. I do also feel, because this thing came up about scent and the smell of fear, I can't really tell you why, but the Akashic Records are saying, like, this doesn't make any sense to me, but basically when somebody's fearful, their root chakra, so their first chakra, the red chakra, right at the very, very bottom of their spine, is vibrating in a strange way, which then ultimately, for things that can't be explained because it's too complex and I don't get it, it then is something that changes your vibration, which on a scent level changes the way that you smell, and it gives off an energy of fear. And like I say, probably most humans can't smell fear on somebody, but animals can, and it's that kind of thing. So you might also find working on your root chakra or working on your own like sense of being an anchor yourself. Again, I feel like that codependency energy from that devil card, it really is realizing, like, Libra, you're amazing at whatever it is that you're doing. Like, you don't need anybody but you. But also, please remember, there will always be people around you because you are you and people love being around you. But it's like dropping that feeling of needing additional support. And I see something amazing coming out of that. I really, really do. And I do want to say, there's something about you guys that feels so nice. Like, so nice. Like, so... And I've seen like an image of, say it's snowing outside and then there's like a burning bonfire and then somebody's like stoking some marshmallows over like the fire in the house, sorry. And then somebody's got like some warm cup of like mulled wine. There's something about you that just feels really, really, really nice and just kind of really warm and inviting. And so for that very reason, Libra, you will always have people around you. It's just that it's just about really recognizing, but you don't need them because you are also a sovereign being. And I think it's about stepping more into that sovereignty. But it does feel really good, by the way. And also I do feel like with that image of, I was getting more of a Christmas image, so I do really feel by Christmas time, and I do believe there is, I think it's in a lunar eclipse. I'm sure it's a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius in December. I feel like that's also going to be relevant to you guys, and I think it's around about the 3rd of December. in 2021. I feel like whatever happens there is quite pivotal for you as well, and you'll have a good gauge at where you're at to do with codependency and independence and authority and autonomy and sovereignty by that kind of point. 100%. Ooh, I like it. And I do also love this, it's so pretty. Okay, let's get some cards. So, what do your Akashic Records want to tell you guys, Libra, about 2021? Sorry, I'm just being shown a spread that I haven't done before. Although, to be fair, I don't really know any of these spreads. I almost just let my guides move my hands, you know what I mean? So then I don't even have to think. It's quite good for me when I don't think. Okay. Ooh, this is really interesting. I'm putting one all the way over here. Okay, let's have a look. So we have King of Blades, which is King of Swords, to start your reading. Then we have, oh wow, then we have Queen of Swords. Okay, so already we have some super harmonized, balanced energy in your sign, guys, in the air sign. And then we also have Four of Swords. So again, lots of sword energy. Okay, then we have Page of Wands. Do love these cards, they're so nice. And then we have, oh wow, Ace of Stones. Okay. And then what's this one all the way over here? And then we have Seven of Vases. Okay, so let me just feel into this a minute. What's going on? Okay, so the initial thing that I really get is, guys, pile number one, you guys that chose this, things are absolutely going to be balancing out in your life. 100% things are going to be balancing out in your life, and new opportunities are going to be coming in. But you being balanced and harmonized, and your life being balanced and harmonized, and also new opportunities coming in, really is very much about you considering the choices that you are making, but not by overthinking, by almost not thinking about them. And I know that that's probably going to be sounding as confusing as anything, so we will go into that. But I just really feel like this one here, with the Four of Swords right at the base of your reading, this is just telling me that you having a downtime is really, really important. And I know sometimes this can be seen as a meditation card, but I'm really not being told it's like that in this spread. I'm hearing that this is very much about you. I'm hearing like, putting anything that's bothering you to bed and not overthinking about it and not worrying about it. And again, I'm sort of seeing this vision of Sleeping Beauty, about how she fell asleep and then she only woke up at the right moment given the certain stimulus. And I'm hearing that you don't have to worry about missing situations or not making the right choice in the right amount of time, because I'm hearing that there's kind of like a divine timing thing that you're also on a soul level aware of, and you will wake up and understand at the exact moment that you need to a really important choice that you need to take in 2021. But actually, the less that you think about it and the more that you allow that answer to come to you almost organically and naturally, the easier this entire thing will be for you. And I'm hearing as well, this is going to take some self-mastery for you to not overthink about choices. Because I wondered what was going on here, but with this Seven of Vases, which is the Seven of Cups, so this is often lots of emotional choices going around, or you having lots of choices to make that also have that you have emotional attachment to. And this is totally distant from the rest of the spread. And I really just feel like that is something that you will or are going to be leaving behind. That kind of like overly thinking. And as my brother would sometimes call it, like mental acrobatics, you know, doing mental acrobatics in your head, that's something that really is going away. And the way why I'm really getting this as well is how it's going away is Libra, you have worked really hard on yourself, like you really have, and you really, I'm hearing that you're really getting to know yourself. And because of everything that happened in 2020 and you had a lot of time to self-reflect, I'm hearing that you actually did heal a lot. I'm hearing that you healed a lot on a psychological level. And I'm hearing that that's also because Uranus in that 8th house has already been working really powerfully for you, and definitely in 2020. And also because you have, in 2019 and summer 2020, you will have had quite an emphasis in your 4th house of your roots, of your home, like where you're from, but also I feel like the roots of your psychology. And I do feel like this is something that you have really spent a lot of time going into, partly because universe has just put you in situations where you had to work through it. But I'm hearing that you've done really well with that, and you've kind of really owned it. And I do see, like with the snake here, there's been a lot of healing that you've done to do with that. But also with the octopus here, I'm also seeing that there's a lot of abundance to come as a result of all the hard work that you've done. And again, it's this kind of thing about, I see like obstacles being removed, definitely by the end of 2021. In 2022, like a lot of obstacles will be removed. And I do see there's like lots of new energy wanting to come in, because with the Page of Wands and obviously with the Ace of Pentacles, these just all tell me that this is new situations that are coming in. I do feel like these are all situations that are coming in. I don't feel like anything's going to be something that you haven't already considered. Let's put it this way, I'll be very surprised if this pile ends up being shocked by anything. I feel like on a deeper level, you'll have had an idea certain things were coming, or more like with whatever you've been manifesting, this is something that you have been working on yourself for a while, so you know about it, and actually you're probably really ready for it to come in. That's the other thing that I'm really hearing with this. And again, with the Page of Matches here, I feel like this is about you having the courage of your conviction, I'm hearing, to really start taking decisive action to do with something that's a creative project of yours, or it's something about children, passion, sexuality, your sex life, your romance life. It's that kind of 5th house energy, which is where I've told you you've got your Saturn and Jupiter conjunction, and that's going to start a whole new cycle in that kind of area. And I do really feel like even if you don't consciously like this match, like take some direct action to do with something in one of those areas of life, I feel like the universe will somehow, I'm hearing, light that match for you. Because again, I'm hearing the words like it is time now. It really is time now. And I don't know if this ever happens with Where's Wally, but again, I'm seeing Where's Wally. So you know that guy that's, I don't know, wears a stripy jumper and you've got to find him in a book full of people. And I'm just hearing a clock like tick, 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 tick. And I'm hearing that after it gets to 60 seconds, like the alarm goes off, and then the page, a bit like Mission Impossible, the page then disintegrates and you can't find it. And I feel like you're on a little bit of a time zone. But it's not that if you don't show out your authenticity within a certain time period, because Where's Wally really felt like about your authenticity for some reason. It's not about if you don't show your authenticity within 60 seconds, that's it, all combust. I think it's more like if you're going to understand something about your own authenticity in a really short period of time, and that's just going to almost like completely reset you and reboot you. Again, I keep hearing reset, reboot. And I do feel like this is something where there is a divine plan at play to do with this. Yeah, and I do feel like this could actually happen quite suddenly. So I know that I said I don't think anything is going to be shocking you about what's manifested, and I really don't. But I do think you might be surprised at how quickly you're able to change your perception of yourself through letting go of it's like letting go of something you've been holding on to from the past. And I do feel like it's a past, like way, way past, because I'm seeing your 8th house lit up. So 8th house, again, can be sort of like, it can be childhood things, it can be things inherited. It feels old, whatever it is, it feels old. And I feel like you've been holding on to something or someone or a situation for really, really quite a long time. And I'm seeing like somebody holding on to a thread. And I'm seeing a whirlwind around this person, but they're still desperately trying to hold on to this thread. And even though the whirlwind is trying its best to rip the thread out of the person's hand, and then I'm hearing that an angel comes back to this person, and an angel just puts its hand on this person and just says, it's okay. It's okay to let it go now. You've done enough. It's okay. Like in a really soft, smooth, soothing voice. And then I see this person almost sort of have like an emotional release. And as they have the emotional release, they just naturally let go of that thread that we're holding on to. And the moment they let go of the thread that we're holding on to, the whirlwind stops. And then it's kind of like bright sunshine comes through. And then I'm seeing like a rain that rains down on the person and helps purify how they're feeling about something or thinking about something. And then obviously I see a rainbow as well. And that rainbow then just shows me that all of their chakras are now getting, again, I'm hearing rebooted. So I don't know what that resonates to with you, but as I was saying about that image and that metaphor, I'm sure some thoughts or images might have been flashing up to you, and I maybe feel into that a bit more about what that is about and what it is that the whole of life and universe is saying, like, you've done amazing, you don't need to do any more, you can let that go now. That's kind of like the vibe that I'm hearing. I could really feel that as well, by the way. And also what I could feel with that is as soon as the angel came in, just like so much peace, so much peace. And again, I'm being shown that this is then something that brings in this kind of balancing of almost like your masculine and your feminine energy. If we say the queen is your feminine energy and the king is your masculine energy, I see both of these things kind of really being balanced up. But it's really interesting. I was shown to put the cards sideways like this, and oh, I'm hearing now this is very much like an arrow. If you can imagine, that's an arrow pointing this way, and the arrow is literally coming in to wipe this one card off. So I'm just going to flick it to wipe that card off, which is obviously that whole kind of like emotional entanglement about choices. I'm hearing those words really strongly. So whatever you have an emotional entanglement to do with, and it's about multiple different choices that appear to you to link in, and that you can only choose one. Something about believing that you can only have one of these choices, that's the only way it can work, and that you almost have to lose 6 things just to gain one, and there's no other way around that. I'm hearing that is something that you are also going to be putting to bed. Again, putting to rest, putting to sleep, like we said about Sleeping Beauty. There really is this theme I'm hearing here of something really, you're just going to be able to put it to rest. And then as you're putting this to rest, you're going to lose that emotional anxiety to do with some choices or something that you're needing to make or you feel like you need to make. And then this is what's going to start bringing in this whole new energy, which is it's balanced energy. It's really, really balanced. It's thoughtful energy. It's considered energy, but it's also inspired energy and also grounded energy. And this is really going to be something that's going to be, again, I'm just hearing like rebooting your whole system. All of these energies are going to start to be coming in. And it's interesting, this one right at the very top, if I said this was like an arrow and it's pointing that way, right? It looks like the Queen of Swords is right at the top. And the Queen of Swords in this deck is depicted as an octopus. And so this is very much related to the numerology of 8 and also to manifestation and abundance. But I'm also really being told that with the king and the queen here, this is also about you really balancing yourself, like your physical world with your spiritual world. I'm seeing that both of these things are going to come into more harmony. And this is again being shown to me that things that you were really wanting to create or manifest, and that they really came to you first on that more kind of spiritual, energetic level, they're really, really going to come into some kind of collaboration, I'm hearing. I'm really seeing that these sort of things are going to come into collaboration. And again, this is going to be something then that you start to be able to really tangibly start experiencing. And like I say, I'm hearing that for a lot of you this will happen in 2021, and if it doesn't happen in 2021, something happens in 2021, which is the actual beginning of this entire thing. But again, I'm being shown these different mazes that it appears that you're going in, and actually also within the labyrinth, that film that we first channeled here, there's something at one point where she's sort of trying to go up loads of stairs, but the stairs keep twisting and turning and going in, and so it's kind of like she's going in different directions and going nowhere. I feel like that's a metaphor for something that again is going to be put to rest. This kind of feeling like you're going in multiple different directions or you're doing multiple different things, but it's never quite building to the thing that it is that you're after. I really feel like that is something as well that is just going to be leaving you in some way. And it's almost like, I just want to tell you what I'm seeing. I want you to be really mindful with a lot of the stuff that I say, because I'm using them as metaphors so that you can, I don't want you to always think this is what I'm psychically seeing, and because there's so many of you and I don't want to, I just don't want to be irresponsible with anything that I'm doing or anything that I'm saying. So, but what I'm seeing as an image, as a metaphor, is it's almost like I'm seeing somebody, again, please remember this is a metaphor, not that I'm seeing it with you, but I'm being shown a metaphor of somebody that has an entity attached to their energy field, and this has caused them to almost constantly trip up on themselves or constantly not be able to get where it was that they were going, because it's almost like the entity was almost running them on a wild goose chase, I was hearing. So it kind of felt like no matter what they were doing, it wasn't really building into anything. But I'm seeing a vision of this was like an entity that was attached onto their energy field, which was almost, I'm hearing, disrupting their own internal sat-nav, their own internal navigation of how to move forward in some kind of way. And it was also being highly distracting as well as disorientating. And I'm kind of seeing like that is just completely getting, I'm hearing that its time in the image, I'm hearing that its time was up, and so it just naturally, it had so long that it was allowed to try and do something for, and because it wasn't able to achieve its goal within a certain time period, therefore it just automatically was combusted and kind of left. So a little bit like, what did we see that for? I swear we saw something about that. I can't remember now. I'm sure I was channeling something about that in the beginning about oh, that's it, about Where's Wally? And if you Where's Wally with your authenticity, you couldn't find it within 60 seconds and the whole thing combusted. I kind of see as well that's like got another deeper metaphor for whatever it is, whatever has been in your reality. And please bear in mind I was using the entity as a metaphor. So whatever it is that you feel has been in your reality that has been distracting you or disorientating you in some way, again, I feel like there's going to be a natural closure and putting to rest that as well. Wow, Libra, I do really feel like you have had a lot going on for a while. But I can just really feel like this all feels like, I'm hearing fate is going to turn in your favour. But let me just get some more. Let's just get a little bit more here. So, please can we have a little bit more about what's going on? I'm hearing that we move these up. What is going on for Libra Power 1? I love this tarot deck, it's so beautiful, the art is incredible. But I read this one really intuitively though, just so you know. Oh, we're not reading reversed. Okay, so the first thing we get is Justice. Okay, so Justice. So guys, Libra, this is literally your card. So that always feels like a really good omen, I always feel. Then we have the Five of Cups. Now the Five of Cups is usually emotional disappointment or loss. In this deck, it always feels completely different. Can you see that there, the little key? Don't know if you can see it. Just there. That's the sign of Chiron. So again, I know Chiron's going to be in your 7th house of relationships, one-on-one relationships. I feel like if those haven't been satisfying for a long time in your life, this is one of those change points again that happens in 2020. Like that almost, if you've been having bad luck on a one-on-one relationship level, and I don't just mean romantic partner or husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend, I also mean maybe with your primary caregiver or with a sibling or with an employer or with your employees. It's anybody you have that one-on-one connection with. I really do feel like there's going to be a new opening. There's going to be I'm hearing there's like a new possible way that you can start interacting with everybody on a one-on-one level that is actually going to get stimulated by you once again standing more in your own autonomy, in your own independence, and again realizing that nothing has any power over you. Libras, you are incredibly powerful and you are incredibly balanced and mature, right? And I think it's just about you really believing that. And I really can see that that's something that's going to be happening. And almost like you've like paid a karmic due to do with something on a relationship level. So it's almost like I'm seeing this. This might be some of you, but regardless, it's the energy. So sometimes in somebody's birth chart, you know, I'm seeing something like somebody's sun in Libra and their sun is conjunct their south node, and this is all in their 7th house of relationships. So that's something where, depending on the rest of the chart, but the way that I'm being shown it as this example is, this is the energy of somebody who's basically come into this lifetime with, let's put it this way, a lot to learn to do with one-on-one relationships, and I'm hearing specifically one-on-one commitments, one-on-one committed relationships. And I'm hearing that it's almost like they came into this life with baggage, let's say, from previous experiences to do with that, and that you've spent a lot of this life actually working through that. And now when I see these two cards together, and they're actually both looking at each other, I don't know if you can see that, they're actually both looking at each other. I really do feel like there's something about 2021 that means that almost like a karmic due has been settled to do with relationships. But what I'm also hearing is this difficult time period to do with relating with somebody and specifically is coming to a closure. But it's about you also being able to see that it's coming to a closure, and you therefore taking the relevant actions that match up to that understanding and that awareness. So I suppose what I'm seeing is it's almost like you do still have a choice, and it's up to you what you decide to do. Because with the Justice card, I'm actually being shown that I'm seeing like there's like an angel that's almost like, well, I suppose like Matt there, I think that's supposed to be Matt, where she'll weigh up the soul of somebody when they pass over and see obviously then what happens to them going forward. But I'm actually seeing that the only person that can make this assessment is you, and it's up for you to decide and you to make the choice. But you can be totally free from this, as in whatever karmic cycle this might be, but it's just completely up to you and how you go about it. And yeah, this will be different things for all of you, but there's a lot of healing to come through that. And again, because of this Chiron that I can see here that's currently in your relationship house, it's also in the opposite house to you, your own personal identity, almost like the house that Aries rules. So it's in opposition to that. So there will be a challenge about you finding a balance between your own autonomy and independence and also the consideration, the collaboration of another. And I do know Libra, you'll find it so much easier to consider somebody else's perspective. But I kind of feel like the karmic balancing comes from you making a strong choice about something. A strong but compassionate choice about something or someone. And obviously you need to just make that how that then resonates for you, because everybody's different. Anyway, then we have the Four of Pentacles. I love this. This makes me think as well about the nose of the moon being in your 3rd and your 9th house, and it makes me think of travel. Now I know for definitely, it's not like, I don't really feel like the first half of 2021 is going to be like this huge amount of travel, but let me just see what the next one is. Oh wow, Strength. This is a beautiful card. Leo energy. So we have here the energy of Libra and Leo. So you might find there's a message in the Leo deck that is really useful as well, the Akashic Records. Let me just feel into this a minute. I do really feel like you're on this journey to becoming something that you've always wanted to become. And I do feel like there's something about you really initiating this more in 2021. And I also really feel this is like you getting a new additional perspective to do with that. This is also really flagging up to me as well. You know, there's this technique that you can use called an energy totem, and it's something that you can use in meditation. It's really flagging up to me, this on here. So you might want to check out one of my Instagram posts about this, because it's a really useful tool that you can use to have discernment when you're doing meditation. And I'm wondering if that might be something really useful as well for you guys. That just kind of flagged up out of nowhere. But yeah, I do really can see that. Sorry. The overall thing about this is putting a lot of things to rest. So a lot of things that have been bothering you, I feel like they're going to be put to rest. And as those things get put to rest, you therefore have a lot more energy to focus on the things that are innately important to you, and that are authentic to you, and mean that you can feel like you are existing in a reality that has more integrity to you. And I feel like that's like a very personal thing. I'm just hearing a message, 1 second. Oh, white one. I've never done it on a white one before. Okay, so I'm getting here, it says, I get these messages from my guides, just channeled out the Akashic Records, and let me go into them in more detail later. This just says, the tone of the lion shows on its lips. So we will have a look into that in the extended. Let's just get a few more cards. I really feel as well, guys, that you've had to be really patient. I'm really getting this vibe of you really had to be patient about stuff. Oops, sorry. And I do really feel that it's about hold on to also whatever you have been striving for. Because even if it hasn't manifested, it's just like we said in this very beginning thing, but to do with something else. Like there's a complicated process to the manifestation of something that you're after. And it's not that it hasn't come because you've done anything wrong. It's just that it hasn't appeared yet because you're still in the process of it. And it's a process of self-mastery. And that's why it's not something that's just been initially kind of sprung on you, or that you've been able to easily attain it. I do also think if, you know, when there's times, because it always happens in everybody's year anyway, where things go well and things then don't go so well. When things don't go so well, I'm really getting this thing about hold, wait, have patience. Hold, wait, and have patience. Like I'm really, really hearing that. quite a few cards for you guys. And then one more. I think you'll love these cards in particular, Libra. This deck always reminds me of such a Libra energy, and I don't really know why. So I'll put that at the top. Right, let's see what additional things we have to get to more detail about everything. So we have stepping through. This is a really interesting card because actually in the guidebook, it actually mixed this up with the definition for the sacral chakra. So that to me has always told me these two things are interlinked. So we'll look into that. What's stepping through? We have here physical body. And just want to say sacral chakra, look at the colours on that. And it's kind of got that sensual, sexual feel to it. So definitely something about sacral chakra energy, and we'll go into that. So that's your second chakra, related to do with flow, movement, sexuality, creativity, even money. So all of those things coming up. Then we have the water guardian, connect with your emotions. That's a really beautiful energy. Then we have here, I am accepting. Okay, I can also see highlighted here is the throat chakra and the 11th chakra. So for some reason we're now being shown quite a lot of chakra energy that's relevant to you guys. And then here we have the judgment card, but this is also related to the Capricorn archetype, and it says here setting priorities, efficiency and practicality. So what we'll do is we will go into all of this in the extended. We will also therefore channel into the crystal here, see what additional insight it has for us. We'll go into what this is about. The tone of the lion shows on its lips. I've got a feeling this is just something important for you to be aware of in 2021. Then we'll go into the sacral chakra to do with sex, and also to do with money and that kind of thing. And we'll look at this Capricorn energy, this water energy, and then this also accepting energy, and see where everything is at. And then finally what we'll do is I'm going to pull you a card from the I Ching, which is just for you guys to interpret yourself, and I'll just read out the definition from the book. I really feel you guys will like the I Ching. The I Ching to me reminds me of such a Libra and Aquarius energy, and I cannot even really tell you why. It just really, really does. So I just feel like you'll really resonate with it. Cool, so hope you enjoyed that reading so far. Hope you come with me to the extended, because there's still so much for us to explore to basically help you leverage your situation in 2021, because that's what this is all about. And I do really feel like the tables are going to be turning for you, Libra. They really are. And it's not just this year. It's a very big cycle of things changing for you, which I think is really, really exciting. So you can get my extended reading from my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. You can also find me on Instagram on Abigail Grace Psychic, and also that's the same as Facebook. And also you can look at my other YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic. I just post lots of different information there that you might also find useful. But other than that, it was my pleasure to read for you, and hopefully see you guys on the extended, or if not, for some more readings later. Have an amazing 2021. And just know so many things are going to be put to sleep that were actually causing you emotional anxiety, or making it difficult to make choices and really feel like you could be truly your authentic self. I really feel a lot of that is changing, which is awesome news. So cool, see you guys soon. Bye. So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for, so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings, so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon. Hi Libra. So this is for all of you that chose message number 2. I was holding the message of what your Akashic Records want to tell you now in 2020. So we'll channel into the crystal in the extended. So I'm just going to put that there. And for now, we'll just start with your stone. So what do your Akashic Records want to tell you about 2021? Okay, so the first thing I hear is the word speed, and then I see a vision of a train, but I actually see a vision of, you know, one of the old-fashioned steam engine trains, and it's kind of like going through the countryside. I guess a little bit like some scenes in Harry Potter, that kind of vision. So instinctively, this is just telling me there's going to be a lot of movement. No, wait. By the time you look at the end of 2021, you'll feel like a lot has moved, a lot has sort of changed. However, it's not, I feel like it's going to be a steady process over 2021. So I'm not seeing like a high-speed train. I'm seeing like that just kind of slow, consistent, steady, reliable type of movement that's going to be occurring for you guys in 2021. And I'm hearing that that's going to be really supportive for you, particularly because the energy is quite intense in 2021 anyway, with just the global astrology, and obviously you can tell that by how things are going in 2020, but there will just be something where the movement is quite nurturing for you guys that chose this pile. And you know, you guys are started feeling like that energy of what I was speaking about in the very beginning of the video, that that you'll either, by the end of 2021, you'll either have moved, physically moved somewhere, or you will have just changed so much within your own personal psychology. So it's almost like you've completely, I know, I'm getting this. You know how basically we pick up only like about 10% of what reality is actually available, and we all choose the 10% to focus on, which is in alignment with our belief systems. So I'm seeing that that 10% that you usually perceive as your reality is going to completely shift to another 10%, if that kind of makes sense. So what you would usually see, say in 2021, how you perceive things, how you would go about things, is going to now be completely different by the end of 2021. So it's either like you're moving places, you're moving country, or you're actually moving, like you're moving the perception of what it is that you see in reality and how you pick up information. So you might go from glass half empty to glass half full, kind of. Let's just use that as an example. But in doing that, you will actually just see everything in life very differently. So where you might have seen somebody not being very nice to you before, now you might actually see them as being really nice to you, or something like that. I'm also getting, for some reason, that the Sagittarius energy is quite important for this pile too. So I don't know where that is in your personal chart, but there's also just this idea about, I feel like charisma is something that's going to be important for this pile, and about showing your true face is what I'm hearing. So taking off all masks and allowing yourself to be fully you, and enjoying that, basically really enjoying just being you and letting all of those sides out. And you know, if any of you have got a tendency to be more, let's say, of a people pleaser, I really feel like that is something that you're going to be working with, and that will have changed by the end of 2021. And as a result, you will feel, the first thing I'm getting is you're going to feel relief, because I think if you in some ways do try to please other people, or you do always try to consider other people, I'm just getting from the Akashic Records that it's absolutely knackering and it's totally draining. And so actually, if you work through that during 2021, you'll realise that you've actually got so much more energy than what you had before. And this is also, I'm hearing, another reason why you'll have like good steady progress and movement over 2021, because the less that you are people pleasing or almost considering other people. I know this might sound weird because we're often taught, I think, to consider other people and think about other people's feelings, but your Akashic Records is really clear here. This is about considering you and considering your feelings and what it is that you want. Because I'm seeing like somebody bending over backwards, like they're doing limbo. You know that game where you can kind of like see how low you can go without hitting off this stick? And I'm just getting visions that you guys that have chosen this pile, like that stick is so low, but you still bend back so much for other people that you still don't actually hit that stick. And actually what I'm now seeing is more like somebody that almost completely boycotts that game and just does what it wants to do. And I'm just really seeing that as a really big metaphor for you guys, that it's really about doing what you want to do. And I'm also hearing that it's going to bring so much happiness into your life. And funnily enough, for you guys, you might not think this would be the case, but it's actually going to bring you a lot more intimacy in all of your different relationships and connections, because people will feel like you're being more authentic with them, and they will like that more than you trying to accommodate them in some way. I guess it will feel more real. There's something about that, but I'm really hearing that if any of you have sort of relationship challenges at any points during 2021, check in to see how much you are people pleasing or bending over backwards for that person or situation. And it really may be a case of stop doing that and actually just expressing honestly what it is that you want and what it is that you need and why it is you need it. And you know, like the age-old thing, you'll know if this person really is, let's say, supportive of your pathway, because they will also consider your needs as much as their own needs. And I feel like this is going to be a really big thing for you guys, and it will just bring, I'm hearing it will bring out way more of your personality, because now I'm kind of seeing the Jupiter planet and Jupiter's obviously a massive planet, and I just feel like this is like your aura is going to grow so much bigger and more powerful the more that you just are honest about what you want and what you don't want, and that you express that and you feel comfortable expressing that. And also because Libra, you guys, you've got such this amazing, graceful, soft energy, very harmonious energy. You know, you guys aren't the sort of people that piss people off when you say what you're feeling, or if you say you're not happy about something, because you don't have aggressive energy. You don't have like, you just don't have aggressive energy. And therefore, you know, you'll be surprised that you just speaking your mind will not create half the amount of actually no, let me just leave it up to you, because it'll be different for all of you. All I know is this will be a positive thing, so feel into if that feels right for you, because I can see that in some ways that's really important, because the more you can align to yourself, the more that obviously the universe and situations can come through for you. And this is the key word as well, the more assertive life will be with you, and you can be with life when you are assertive about what you really do want, what you really do need. And do you know what, even if this means for some of you, I'm not saying this is for all of you, but for some of you, if this means that it's almost like you have a complete a complete shift in a specific area to do with relationships. And with this, I'm not just thinking romantic relationships, I'm thinking family relationships, friend relationships, work colleague relationships, anything where you have this one-on-one connection. You know, if you really start asserting yourself, you might find many different things have changed in a positive way by the end of this year. However, always be mindful when you start asserting yourself. You know what it's like, not everybody, you know, people don't always like change, so just be mindful of that. But just because somebody else is uncomfortable with your change does not mean that it's not the best change for you. And indeed, you might even be uncomfortable with this change. But often I'm hearing from your Akashic Records specifically to do with all of this, the more uncomfortable you are in 2021, and the more that you kind of lean into that, just the more that you're going to have to celebrate by the end of 2021. And I'm really getting that specific word, celebrate, because I was sort of seeing like a party and balloons and all of that kind of stuff. So I do feel like you'll be massively rewarded by the end of the year if you're really able to, I suppose, truly step into this more assertive, more dynamic, but more definite energy. There's so much to be gained for that for you guys. Cool, so let us get your cards. Okay, so what do the Akashic Records want to tell pile number 2 about 2021? Okay. I definitely feel as well there's this thing about like going into the unknown. Just you being open to things in a completely different way. And I also feel like there's something as well about you, this is really going to be a big year if you, wherever you're at to do with not taking things personally, that's going to go to a whole other level, and it's going to be incredibly beneficial for you. And I feel like that is something also really important, because the less that you'll feel the need to people please, the more you'll feel comfortable with asserting yourself, and therefore the more you'll feel comfortable with other people asserting themselves with you too. And so I'm seeing like this image, as I say that as well, I'm seeing like this image of like a wilting flower that then blossoms into this like amazing, beautiful, like, I don't know, like sunflower type of thing. And I think you'll be surprised just how much is gained on so many different levels by you asserting yourself, by you taking even less things personally, and by you also allowing other people to... Now I'm seeing the 5 of Wands card, right? But I'm not seeing the 5 of Wands as conflict. I'm seeing it as like playful banter type of thing. I just feel like that's something that's also coming in for you guys. So let's just see what we get here. So we have Queen of Stones, which is Queen of Pentacles. So that's soft, loving, nurturing energy. Wow. Then we have the Tower. I love the Tower on this deck. That is also right at the base of your reading, so we definitely know there's big changes coming along. Then we have the Page of Blades, which is actually the Page of Swords. So that's a good harmonious energy for you guys because it's air energy, which is like you. And then we also have the 8 of Stones. Okay, so interestingly, what I'm going to tell you instantly is there will be at some point some conflicts going off between your mind and what your reality is doing. But if we go back to what I was saying to you, for you guys in the astrology in the beginning, there really is going to be this thing about rebooting your system, and the energy that's coming in is way more in alignment with you. So what this really tells me is that I just feel like you'll be a pile that will be very much aware of conflicts that are going off in reality as things are shifting from a real kind of earth energy to a much more faster air energy. And it's about this thing about people understanding how to keep up, like businesses understanding how to keep up, relationships understanding how to keep up, you even keeping up with your own self-growth. Everything is going to be speeding up. And particularly because 2020 was so, let's say, stagnant, and then we suddenly go boom right at the end of 2020 with this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, which I kind of feel here. This for me feels Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, which is in your 5th house. So we'll go on about that later. But it just really feels that I'd say this, be really mindful of your boundaries in 2021, because you're going to be, I'm going to say, highly sensitive to the change in energy that's coming. And like I said before, we go from a 200-year cycle in earth energy to now almost like this 200-year or however long it is massive air cycle. And at the same time, we also go into a 20-year specific air cycle. So everything's shifting essentially from earth type energy, like with our pentacles here, into air type of energy. But also I think the Page of Swords here is really good, because the pages are always quite innocent and they're young. And you've got to remember as well, with everything that happens in 2021 and the shifts that are occurring, particularly the way that you will experience them, well, I'm not just going to say this to you, because we will all be babies with this new energy coming in, you know, because we won't have experienced it in the same way. And I've got this feeling that you're just going to be way more sensitive and aware of these energy changes than other people. So if this resonates true with you, I think it'd be useful for you to either have some kind of energy protocol, like I do. Most days I will always do bands of power, bands of protection, which is a shamanic kind of just really quick visualization that you do to put up these coloured bands around you. But you might do white light, you might do power animal around you, you might also just do something very physical, like pushing out space around you. You might have salt baths. I mean, obviously there's so many things that you can do, and obviously that's for you to feel into what feels right for you. But I do definitely feel like it'd be really good for you to have something where you have got a clear distinction between you and what's going off in your reality, because you just want to be careful you don't get swept up into whatever is going off. However, now let me just tell you the amazing things that I really do feel. And I don't know why, but I really feel it with this Tower card, but also it's just what my guides are saying anyway from your records, is that almost all of you are going to have an idea is going to come to you at some point in 2021, and it's kind of going to almost come suddenly from nowhere, and it's going to come fully formed with a full idea of whatever it might be. And funny enough, actually, what I'm doing now with all of these readings and the ones that are to come, this is what happened for me in July. Suddenly, I just had this, I was chatting with my mate, we were talking about what I could do, and then suddenly over 5-10 minutes, we just came up with this whole idea, and it was fully formed, and it just kept growing and growing in detail the more we were just chatting. So in the shortest space of time, like a bus ride, which was only 10 minutes, we came up with this whole idea. I really feel like that's something that you are all going to have at some point in 2021. And also what I'm really seeing is that you'll get this fully formed idea, but it won't feel like quite the right moment to implement it. So it's almost like you have to sit on that idea for a bit. And I don't know if you can see here, the duck here is kind of sitting on some stones, as it were. So I really feel like suddenly out of nowhere, really, really suddenly, you get this new idea about something, but it's fully formed in almost all its detail. However, you need to sit and wait on it for a little bit. And the reason is, actually, let's find out. Anyway, so you have to sit and wait on it for a little bit, and then it'll be time to start working on it with the 8 of stones. But it's going to come in this kind of cycle, this pattern. Now let's find out why it's coming in that way as well. Let's use these, because that is really, really interesting. I do feel this is something to do with your creativity, because again, I said this energy felt like Saturn and Jupiter, and that's in your 5th house, and your 5th house is about creative energy, creative projects, and all of that kind of thing. But also some of you, it might be something to do with your sexual energy. So it could be anything to do with your sex life, where you get a sudden realization about something, but you can't, it's not like that's something that you can implement straight away, and then the opportunity comes in and then you can, in some whatever way that might be. So that's another way that this could work. Or this could also be to do with a relationship that's quite young, that's quite early, as in it's in the early stages. I also feel like there could be something about that, with a sudden breakthrough of an idea to do with this relationship, whatever it is, but you can't quite move with that situation straight away, and then it's later on that you can start working on it. There's just something about this kind of like inception, and then also a time pause delay that's kind of going on. Now, let's just see, why is there this time pause delay? And then let's just get a couple for each of these anyway. I love it when tarot's like this, when it just is, and the Akashic Records, when it's just kind of like a journey that unfolds itself over time. So do we read reverse? No. Okay. So we have 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, and Ace of Discs. Then we have here 5 of Wands. Oh, that's interesting. Then we have here, oh wow, 5 of Swords. And then we have here King of Cups. Okay, so just give me a moment just while I feel into all of this. Okay, right, so instantly what's coming through is the reason why there is a time delay for you guys to do with getting the idea and then implementing it, and why this is also important is because I'm very much hearing that you essentially, and this is more of a psychic-y type of thing, but when you get an idea that comes fully formed in a huge amount of detail, it comes through on kind of like the fastest frequency, but that really fast frequency doesn't translate into physical reality very well. It can cause a lot of upset and disharmony and conflict if you bring suddenly super fast energy into a physical reality situation, because it's almost like you got to think of it as a filter. It's almost like that super fast, I know, think of it as a transformer to do with electricity. You know, when sometimes you get these transformers that will convert whatever it is into a much smaller electrical current, so therefore you can use it in your household systems with plugs. That is what I'm exactly being shown. And when you get this sudden idea or an awareness about something, bear in mind, remember, it could be a relationship, it could be a person, and I'm hearing specifically if it is to do with a person or a relationship dynamic, absolutely wait for almost like the super fast energy of this insight about what's going on to be fully integrated within you before you start to share it with another or communicate it with another. Because if you move too soon with this, I'm just hearing it could like blow a fuse in some way, because again I'm seeing that electricity. However, I'm seeing that it's a really positive thing whatever this is, but like timing is critical, and this timing thing about waiting, this pause process is really, really important. Now you might also find on my other YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic, I've got a video about integration time. My guides are flagging up that for some of you this will be important, but you've got to just think whether it's some kind of rapid insight about a relationship, for better or for worse, if it's a rapid insight about a creative project or an idea, whatever it is, just allow it to incubate a little bit. Allow yourself to kind of not feel, don't get this urgency, manickiness to kind of go with it straight away, because if you do, like I say, I'm hearing that it could blow a circuit, and I'm also hearing that you'll actually get lots more ideas which will almost condense this inspiration even more, so that it's even more able to apply itself into physical reality and to be successful for you and give you a successful outcome. I'm also really hearing as well, the reason why time is needed for this, and you Libras will really get this, I feel, is because it's about you really blending both your masculine and your feminine energy. So, you know, so it's about you being able to use your emotional energy in harmony with your mental energy, and also being able to use, let's say, your spiritual energy in harmony with your physical body and energy. All of these things kind of just need to line up, and for that as well, even though the idea comes in super suddenly, it needs time to get converted into usable energy that will be productive for you. And again, I'm getting that thing flagged up about the train. So we saw the train. The first word I got for you guys was speed, but then the train that we saw wasn't a particularly fast train. It was just like a steam engine. And I feel like this is this whole thing about, to make sure you've got, you can go the distance with whatever this is, allowing integration time between inspiration, or even if it's that you hear something suddenly about someone or something, it's allowing that kind of integration time to happen before you actually take any action to do with it, because that's what's going to give you a much more, it's funny because with the Five of Swords, I know it can be a card of defeat and stuff like that in usual tarot, but in these tarot they're quite different. And can you see all of the owls around her? It's just like, this is wisdom, and the white, so it's pure wisdom. And this is something that I really feel that you'll be gaining by by doing all of the things that we've talked about so far. And what's interesting is your record said about you being assertive and obviously staying about what you want and knowing about what you want. But then also your tarot is also coming in and saying, as much as you need to be assertive, this is really important, like honor timing, know the timing of when is best to be assertive and when is best to hold back and wait. And again, funny enough, I said this to the Aries, you do really feel, obviously you're across the chart from Aries, and I do really feel like there's something that's quite similar that's going off for you two guys in very different ways, but there's a sort of similar thread between you and Aries. And I did really say about you being assertive, but it's like timing it. The timing is super, super important. And I do really feel that you'll be able to do that, Libra, because, you know, also Libra does have an affinity with Saturn to some extent, and Saturn really understands time, and I really feel like you guys will get this. But you've just got to make sure as well that it's a real balancing of almost like this, I'm going to say the words like neurotic need to say something or do something or just do something, because when this intense energy comes in with the idea or the sudden insight, or you find something out about something, there'll be so much energy going off in your body that you'll feel like you just need to discharge that somehow, somewhere, and it will encourage you unconsciously to do that quick and fast and without thinking. But really where you'll gain the most is if you kind of almost just allow yourself to almost be like incubate with that energy, relax with that energy, allow that energy to kind of like harmonize with you and who you are and what you stand for and what it is that you want, and then start to slowly see the way forward of how to use that inspiration, that insight that you've found out, that information about someone or whatever it is, so that you can make this work the best for you and your life. But it will definitely require this whole kind of thing, and I do keep seeing the transformer, transforming that energy from a seriously high voltage to a much more household friendly voltage. And that's really, really important, and that's something for you to consider to do with you and yourself and your life in 2021. I'm also hearing that this will work on multiple different levels, so it'll be present in really small areas within your life on a day-to-day, where maybe you just need to be aware again of that transformer, and allowing your energy to fully integrate within you before you take a certain action or say something to a person or whatever it might be. And also within these spaces, you know, when you give stuff time, like the incubation time almost, it does actually allow your spirit guides to give you more insight and guidance of how best to proceed. Even if you can't hear your spirit guides, trust me, they chat to your subconscious, unconscious all of the time, and that information therefore gets filtered into your conscious mind, and then it comes to you as a sudden idea or an awareness about something. The more time that you give, the more that this allows your spirit guides to also support you and give you additional insight and information. Now, the other thing though, just to remember with this as well, is Libras, I know that sometimes some of you, not all of you, but probably definitely more Sun and Moon, you definitely can be more likely to, I would say sometimes struggle to take decisive action. So it's so interesting because I feel like I'm telling you almost like conflicting things about how you need to go about this, but this is all part of this blending or this alchemy that's going to occur within you that makes you shift your whole 5% vista of information with reality into a completely different, 10% vista, into a completely different 10% vista of what you pick up about reality. But yeah, the other thing you need to be mindful of is that you don't also wait too long to take the action. And this is really, really important. So it's really, really trying to find that happy medium, which is essentially the Libra scales, you know, the balancing of how they go about. This is going to be really important. And you actually might want to just check out what the duck power animal is. I actually really don't know what it is, but I feel like you might find something useful out of that too. But yeah, so whatever you do, you want to try and find this balance of when to act and when to wait, and just be really mindful that one, you don't, like we said, act too quickly, where you don't allow the information to have fully integrated within you, and then it kind of blows a fuse in a certain area of your life. And then on the other side of that, you also need to make sure that you don't wait too long, because what will also happen, I'm hearing, is if you wait too long, the universe will force you into a situation to have to take some action or decision, like a tower moment basically will come through, which will almost, I'm hearing, force your hand. And if your hand is forced, again, it will be the same kind of thing as you're more likely to blow a fuse in a certain area of your life, because this energy is too high, it's too fast, it's too quick, it's too neurotic, it's too all over the place, it's too ungrounded, it's way too ungrounded. So I do feel like a lot of what your Akashic Records are saying to you is, in 2021, really understand how to work with this harmony with yourself, essentially, and how you interact with physical reality. But like I say, I do feel like this is all going to be a very positive thing, but it's all about, it's going to be a journey. And I suppose that's the train again, because we saw the train in the vision going through, like almost like the Harry Potter thing. And also, if we go into Harry Potter very much is a journey of maturation, right, of Harry. And I do feel like this is something that's really going to be happening for you guys in 2021. But I feel like this maturation is also really going to be occurring to do with your 5th house. So regardless of your astrology, it's going to be to do with areas to do with your own creativity, your own creative projects, your own sexual desires, your own creative desires, your own, putting yourself out on stage in some kind of way. And I mean this metaphorically, but it could also be real for some of you too. It really is just literally putting yourself out there, but it's putting yourself out there with your authentic self. And I do feel like that will be a journey, and it will definitely be something around working between people pleasing and also asserting yourself, and also not taking things personally, and also grabbing opportunities at the right moment, and also holding, like having the discipline to hold for the right moment to then do something, say something, whatever it might be. So it kind of feels, you guys will love this. It feels like mental acrobatics, which I know is something that all air signs can totally do. Just be mindful as well, though, with all of this air energy that's present in 2021, and with the Mercury retrogrades also in air signs, honestly, guys, just find some ways that you can really calm your mind in whatever way that might be. It could be lifting weights at the gym, it could be salt baths, it could be going for walks in nature, it could be spending time with animals, I don't know, it could be reading a book. I don't know what it is, but it's really, really important that you're going to have some kind of routine. And I do think, just remember to yourself at any time in 2021, I think this is almost like the question that I'm getting. It's like, ask yourself, am I about to be reactive, or am I about to be inert? And I think if you can honestly say to yourself, okay, am I about to be reactive with this? Yes, okay, right, I need to wait. Or am I about to be inert with this? Yes, okay, right, now I need to take action. Do you see what I mean? I really feel like the words reaction and inert are 2 words for you to definitely consider when many different scenarios come up in 2021, because it will allow you to, by being really honest with yourself with that answer and then following through with whatever that answer is, I can see that you can create almost like a lot of wealth and abundance in your life. Now, I don't just mean this in terms of finances or business projects. I also mean this in terms of like relationships, and just real opportunities coming in. I can feel that is really, really important. Now, my guides are also just shouting out there's some childhood stuff that's going to be coming up. Let's just get a couple of cards for that. And also, I suppose this is with Uranus being in your 8th house. 8th house can definitely, I always think, bring up things from ancestral stuff, karmic stuff, all of this kind of thing. And also it can do it suddenly and dramatically with Uranus there. So let's just, what is this about childhood stuff? I'm also just getting a message here. Okay, remember these are always really, really random, and then we go into these in more detail and extended. So I'm just hearing whistling is a problem when you don't have a tune. So we'll put that to the side here and go into that in more detail, but let's just have a look here. So we have the 4 of Cups about your childhood, and Nine of Matches. I friggin' love this picture of the Nine of Matches. Can you see it's like a woman blowing out a match? Right, and my guys told me to put it right over the center with this. So just give me a moment just while I feel into it all. Okay, so what I'm really getting with this is potentially things that are going to occur or come up for you in 2021 are going to be to do with, it's really going to be very much about a masculine energy frequency is a real part that you're going to be harmonizing within you. So I would imagine that maybe a lot of you that have picked this pile have probably got a bit more predominantly feminine energy. And actually the universe is going to be bringing in people, situations and scenarios which is actually going to help you to further integrate your masculine energy. Now in doing so, that's going to bring up stuff to do with your past, to do with your childhood, to do with the primary caregiver that was that's got the most masculine energy. Now that might be the father, the stepfather, the adoptive father, whatever it might be, but bearing in mind that some women can also have more masculine energy than feminine energy. So you just have to really feel into this, okay? Because I'm just telling you the energies. But if we just go with it's going to be the primary caregiver that's got the most masculine energy, things are going to be coming up for you to integrate to do with that. And I really feel as well, because this card, it always reminds me of Neptune for some reason, this King of Cups. And so I really do feel like this is going to be playing out in your day-to-day life quite a bit. And I'm hearing very much to do with your working life, like what it is that you do, your craft, the thing that you are here to do, that you do every day, that you want to get better at, like the crafting of whatever it could be. So for me, it might be the craft of, I don't know, let's say doing psychic readings. For somebody else, it could be the craft of writing. For somebody else, it could be the craft of doing the stock market. Somebody else, it could be the craft of becoming a really good primary school teacher. I really don't know what it is, but whatever is your day-to-day sort of living, how you go about it, it's about seeing it as an actual craft, but then it's about actually going deeper than that. And it's going to be about, pay attention to the primary caregiver that was male in your life growing up. What were they like to do with their craft? So the thing that they did day to day, where it's almost like it can be their day-to-day routines, it can be their health, it can also be to do with how they are to do with animals, just a little side note there, but it's also the craft, the thing that they sort of worked at every day to get better and better and better at. And so that could also be a psychological thing, right? So just feel into what feels right for you, but there's something about that will be coming up. And if you can become aware of how your primary caregiver that was father behaved about this, their belief systems, their actions to do with and the situations that got created in life for them as a result of their actions and their belief systems, this is going to give you, I'm hearing, a lot of power for you to be able to sculpt what it is that you want and really create exactly what it is that you want. Because I've got no idea, but this card really comes into me. The Nine of Matches is a super creating your reality type of card. But interestingly, creating your reality type of card through changing your own energy through your belief systems and your feelings about stuff, and it therefore almost brings other opportunities in. And it's almost like you set an intention, and I'm also seeing this as like a candle with the match here. It's like you setting an intention, and then as you blow out that candle with the intention, you start to bring all people and situations and scenarios to you to help you manifest that intention. But it happens on really quite a psychological and, let's say, energetic space, because it all starts with a really strong intention. And so I kind of really feel like this all kind of molds in together. And why this is important is because whatever it is that you're trying to create in your life, so whatever is this creative desire that you have in a relationship, in a job, in a life purpose, in a house, in a lifestyle, whatever it might be, on some level, it is, if you ever find it stagnating at some points in 2021, and bearing in mind this happens for all of us, as we go on a journey to expand, then there's always moments of contraction when we go back a step just to integrate stuff, and then we can expand again. If you ever find that you're getting into a contraction point to do with whatever it is that you're trying to create, 9 times out of 10 I'm hearing that if you can just pay attention and see the similarities between what's going on with you and what happened with your primary caregiver that was masculine when you were growing up. This could also be an uncle as well, it could also be a brother, you know, just think about it quite in bigger terms. It could even be if it was a prominent school teacher that was a masculine energy that really influenced you. I think you'll find you'll get a lot of intuitive insight about yourself and about your situation and about how to proceed. And again, I do really feel like this could be very intuitive. And I would say pay attention to your dreams at these moments as well, because I feel like information could come through like that, as well as how you end up daydreaming. And pay attention to these sudden insights and ideas that come in, because everybody's going to be so much more attuned to the energy of the Akashic Records the more that we go on into this cycle of air energy. And the Akashic Records is this thing where I know there is this kind of, sometimes I think there's been this thing put out about always going in with a prayer and a this and that and the other, but the other truth is as well, and I'm not saying that that's not true, because that can be very important, very powerful and all the rest of it, but also just bearing in mind that, you know, when your energy starts to vibrate and change and your nervous system starts to vibrate and change at this higher frequency, you will just automatically sometimes randomly get downloads from the Akashic Records. And if we go back to the very beginning for you about what I was saying, there is this whole thing about you will suddenly get an idea or something that comes fully formed out of nowhere. And that very much is this kind of like Akashic Record type of energy that I'm talking about as well. So maybe you guys might want to explore the Akashic Records a little bit more too. And you can even go into your Akashic Records and find more information about anything to do with, you know, the most prominent masculine energy that's currently influencing your life, and then how to work with that. So I think that's what's really coming through to do with the childhood thing. I do also feel like there is something about whoever was your primary caregiver that was a father. I do feel, because with the Four of Cups, this is something about disappointment. This is something about maybe things not turning out the way that was wanted. This is something also about potentially a lack of belief and trust in the universe, or in like a bigger force that's guiding and protecting. And this is also maybe a bit more of a skeptical energy to life on some certain situations. So for some of you, that might be something for you to just consider to do with whatever is. And I don't feel like this is you, for example, but I feel like this is an energy that's coming through from your family lineage. Because you've got to remember way back in the past as well, because this could also be a grandfather. This could be a great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, okay? So you do want to really just be open, be totally open, and just know that when the time is right, the right information will come through. But you know what, way back in the day, obviously, you know, the energy on Earth was, if you think it's heavy now, bloody hell, it's way more heavier, and it was so much slower, lower frequency. So, you know, almost like the Four of Cups could almost be like an everyday type of energy for people back then. Potentially, like if we were to be put back in that situation, we'd probably definitely feel like Four of Cups energy, regardless of what was going on, even if we were king or queen, because the energy was so much more heavier. So also just remember that we all have different parts in our DNA. We all carry memories from different, you know, from the lineage that we're from. And so just check in that whenever, if you start to feel despondent or downhearted or things aren't working the way that you want, maybe just check in as well that you could just do a little meditation of something on YouTube to just help clear that energy out of your family ancestral lineage. Because like I say, you do have a lot of focus in the 8th house with Uranus, the sudden liberator. There'll be lots of liberations to do with you and where you fit within your ancestral patterns, and you can very much be a way shower. You can actually, oh my god, this is so cool, it's just coming in now, that whole thing that we were talking about, being a transformer and transforming the energy and then putting it down some voltages so that you can use it as a household appliance. Actually, you'll probably find that the opposite will become really important for you over almost like the next 7-8 year cycle as Uranus goes through your 8th house. This is specific as well for Libra risings, by the way, but you'll still feel this as well on an emotional or a mental level, sun and moons. But it's almost like, you know, you will purposefully, almost as on a soul level, blow some fuses within your family lineages to reset the energy, to reharmonize the energy. So it's interesting, again, I'm doing that whole thing about, in one situation I'm saying consider this, do it this way, and then in a totally another situation I'm saying almost the total opposite advice and guidance. So just be so open to these different kind of, maybe play about with this whole kind of thing of like, where are you polarized in life? Where do you just really just want to see something in one way regardless of what is going off? And then also play around with like, where are you completely balanced and harmonized and or whatever, and where also maybe do you not want to get involved and you step outside. And I just feel like all of these things are going to be coming in and going to be playing out for you, and it's going to make this, like I say, really, really mental acrobatics. But I do feel there will be points of change, there will be points of conflict, but there also will be points of like paradigm shifting. There also will be points of like massive opportunity. And I just can really feel like, because now look what's happened as we've gone into the reading even more, your Tower card has now moved into the centre of your spread. So where it started here to begin with at the bottom, it's now moved right into the centre. So that also just tells me that as we go along on 2021, you know, these kind of moments, these breakthroughs, these epiphanies, I think they're going to become more and more central to the progression and the evolution of you in 2021, and maybe how your business grows or how you grow or how your creative project grows or your relationship grows. So you know, that whole kind of thing, I think I said it to you in the beginning, something about, it was when I was reading the astrology, almost like, something about getting used to the energy of chaos or chaos theory, or I can't exactly remember how I said it. I don't know, but it was something about that. It's something about you really being able to... Chaos energy is highly, highly fertile energy. It's powerful energy. And it's just about being able to work with that type of energy and realise that you can work with it in different ways. Like sometimes you can you need to do the transformer thing and plug the energy down a bit. Sometimes you need to hold with the energy. Sometimes you actually need to use the energy and be assertive and actually blow a fuse, because that's also really important. So you just got to be super open and flexible to those whole range of different scenarios and situations that can come through in 2021. But yeah, definitely pay attention to this masculine energy within you, and also within your family lineages and your childhood past. And that can also include school, please remember that too. Now let's just get some, oracle cards. So, let's see. I love these cards, they're so beautiful. I also really love these cards too. They're really nice. Wow. Okay, so what flipped out straight away is Scorpio, but we're just going to put those back in. I think this is as well you understanding how to channel your passions. I think that's going to become a really, really big theme as well. These are really nice too. Let's just get one more. I'm just being told we need another one of these. Okay, right. Okay, so we have trust your innocence. That's beautiful. Okay, then we have, oh wow, the Mystic. I always think this is such a powerful card. Definitely, obviously, your third eye chakra, but I'm also really getting visions of your ninth star chakra as well, but we'll go into that. Then we have here, Orion, skill, arrogance, vanity. And then I give offerings that are genuine. That's not actually what it's saying, I can tell you that right now, but because you guys always do that, give offerings that are genuine. Oh wait, I'm hearing something else. Okay, it's about you with yourself. Right, I'll go into that in more detail in a moment. And then we have here, Lady, enjoy growth and reap the rewards. I mean, totally. And also that's right at the bottom of your deck. I do really, really feel like that. But you know what, I also do feel like this is almost like a choice, because there's things that you will to get a different action to get a different reality, you will obviously have to take different actions, and you'll take those different actions by changing your perceptions about stuff and yourself. So I do feel like that's an important process. Also, whenever I see this, I always think about that myth about Pluto of the underworld, but we'll go into that in detail later. Cool. So okay, so I'm getting quite a lot of different messages out for all of these, but what we're going to do now is we're going to take that into the extended reading, and we'll also go into this message here, what this meant. So whistling is a problem when you don't have a tune. We'll also channel into this crystal, and then we're also going to I'll choose a card for you from the I Ching to see exactly what the message is. But obviously try and put together all of these different things we talked about, because we talked about loads. I don't know, it's so much. Going forward into the extended, this is definitely coming out some more sorts of stuff to do with the childhood, definitely to do with masculine energy as well, that's coming through. Also about perceptions of yourself and where there are smokes and mirrors within that, is what I'm hearing. But also there's something as well about a really unique gift and talent that you've got, and even though you might know what it is, there's still a way for you to express it better, and we'll look if anything's holding that back. So that just gives you a bit of an idea about where we're going with this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that reading. You can find me on Instagram on abigailgracepsychic.com, also my Facebook as well there, and then also if you want to buy the extended reading, it's on my website on abigailgracepsychic.com, and also check out my other YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic, and potentially that video about integration time, because I think that will really give you this idea about action and non-action, and just integration on its whole, because there's so much you guys are going to be integrating. I mean, to have the Tower card in the centre, but to kind of make its way up. I love how your spread was so dynamic and it moved the more that we talked, and I feel like that's you as well. Like, the more you engage with life in 2021, the more things are going to move and the more things are going to change. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you in the extended. Bye. So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for, so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings, so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon. Hi Libra, so this is for all of you that chose message number 3 for what your Akashic Records want to tell you, Libra, about 2021. This is obviously for Sun, Moon or Rising, but also welcome to anybody who just intuitively felt like a wild card that this was going to give them the guidance that was most relevant for them at this moment in time during 2021. So what we'll do is we'll channel into your crystal, I love this one, in the extended reading. But for now, we'll go straight into channeled messages from your stone. Right. What do your Akashic Records want to tell you? Okay, the first thing that I can really feel, and this feels really nice and it feels peaceful, something is going to come to a conclusion and it's going to feel like complete relief. It's going to feel like complete relief. And I also feel like, as whatever this is, because it's different for all of you, so just feel intuitively now what kind of intuitively feels like it might come to a conclusion by the end of 2021, and it's just going to bring real relief, and it's going to just bring peace. And I'm also getting that whatever this is, it's something that you have has really challenged you. And it's either challenged you for a long time for some of you, or for others of you, it's challenged you super intensely over a very short period of time. Whatever this is, I can really feel like this is going to come to a conclusion. But as it comes to a conclusion, it's also actually more than just a conclusion. It's like a resolution. And I'm kind of seeing it's almost like the universe is going to be giving you a graduation certificate to do with whatever area of your life this is. And I'm seeing also that whatever this is, now I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to channel a bit further past 2021. From 2022 onwards, and really, wait, let me just get this. So basically by the end of 2023, something incredible is really going to be coming out of this in a way that you wouldn't have expected. So there's something about this that although it concludes and it really is a peaceful resolution by 2021, there's still going to be massive progress in whatever area of your life this is. And it comes to almost like, I know, I'm getting the end of 2021, it's like the universe gives you a certificate for graduating. By like the end of 2023, it's more like you break a world record, like metaphorically, to do with whatever this is. So you can see how there's still going to be like insane amounts of growth, exponential growth, all through this year, next year and the following year to do with whatever this feels like. And it will be different for all of you. There's also as well something that I do feel with this pile is there's a unique experience coming for you at some point in 2021, which it's actually going to define you. And actually, you know, another pile that's really coming up for me, I've done another video on 2021, your Akashic Records, avatar upgrade. So if you want to find that, because this is what I feel. I feel like you're going to be going through an avatar upgrade massively in 2021. And this is going to be a combination of all the air energy. So I feel as well that people that pull this pile, it won't surprise me if you also have quite a lot of planets or significant points in air signs, because it kind of feels like you're going to be going through a really... I'm hearing monumental changes, but it's very much through your own personal identity, so how you see yourself. So for some of you, it will mean that things really change in your physical reality, but also for some of you, it's more like you're really, really changing internally. And because of that, again, you're going to make massive exponential changes and growth, and you'll achieve so much over 2022 and 2023 as a result of all of these things, the way that you change your own personal psychology. I mean, there's so many different things that are going to come up, which is actually going to be changing who you are. So by the time you go into the next 2 years, you've now got solid roots and you're able to move on in a specific direction. But really, it's funny, I've not had another group do this yet. This really feels relevant for like I'm talking about a 3-year cycle here. So you might also find for some of you, you might have something significant going on. Like if you're in the ages of, well, anywhere between 38 and 44, you have loads of different important transits that go on astrologically, so there could be something like that going on as well. Equally, obviously, you don't have to be that age, because you could have having a Saturn returns, or you could just have a significant transit at some point in your chart. Like I've had one of those for almost like the past 2.5 years, and it really has been life-changing. So yeah, that's the sort of energy that I really feel. That's really interesting, like I say, because I've not had anything channel out of the Akashic Records for 2021 yet, where there's just this really big, it's almost like this really is a 3-part process, and 2021 is the first part, is what I'm really getting. But let's pull some cards and see what we get. So, oh wow, I've just been shown the spread that we're doing. Not had this one come out yet either. We're having basically like a rainbow. Okay, let's go. So, first thing we have 6 of Swords. Okay, so 6 of Swords is often known as the success card or the achievement of something. Then we also have the Eight of Stones. So Eight of Stones is often about working towards something. Craft again. Funny, pile 2 had stuff about craft. Really working on your craft, whatever that might be. Then we have the High Priestess. Love this card. So intuition playing a big part. Also, I'm just getting the words here, Destiny's Calling with this one. Then we also have Page of Stones. And just as I say Destiny's Calling, look at that. Can you see how it's kind of like a path leading off into the mountains? So that's definitely related into that. Obviously, we'll go into all of this in more detail. Then we have the King of Stones, which is the King of Pentacles. I love the bear. I think the bear parallel is so... I mean, it just screams leadership always, but it screams compassionate leadership. And it's very much... I always think of the bear as, funny enough, like a humanitarian sort of... like a humanitarian type of energy of all like power animals for some reason. And then we also have here 3 of Stones, so that's 3 of Pentacles. So again, working on something. Okay, just bear with me just while I feel into all of this. Okay, so one brief thing that I'm really getting is that you're going to overcome an obstacle and a block that you have, like this bear here is just cutting that wood into half, which is going to open up your psychic centers way more. In doing so, you're going to have a new idea, a new understanding of where it is that you need to go or what it is you need to do to create more success. And this is the thing, recognition in your life. This is also going to work on a romantic level as well as on a kind of a monetary kind of job level. I really feel like you're going to, as you overcome whatever hurdle this is, because it's going to be different for all of you and it's absolutely happening, and I'm actually hearing for a lot of you it's already well in the process, you've been working on this for quite a while, you're actually going to be changing your energy field to the point where you're then actually able to receive sincere recognition from others, both on a personal level, a romantic level, a family level, and obviously on a work level. So there's a really big thing about recognition, but it's definitely about something that you're therefore recognizing within yourself, and it's changing a belief system, but we will go into that later. But anyway, then as a result of that, and you have a new direction about how you can gain more recognition, you then work on that, you take a new direction with something that it's to do with, and in doing so, you meet someone new. And not only do you meet someone new, you meet a range of different people. I see sort of you drawing quite a lot of people with you that actually want to work with you to create whatever has come up here. So whatever comes up in 2021, and some of you might already be aware of it, you might be working on a long-term project. I do feel like recognition is coming to do with that. After you've got a breakthrough with something, and we're going to look into that, but it will mean that when you work consistently on what it is doing, and you keep going exactly in that direction that you want to do with whatever this is you want to manifest, this is when over a period of time, you will find that other soul tribes, other soul members, people come in to help and support you on that journey. And actually, as they help you, you can also help them. So I really, really like that. Anyway, now let's get more details on all of this. So let's just move it out a bit. Right. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get one more for each, and I'm hearing that we don't read reversals. This is nice. I've not done a spread like this before in this kind of shape. This again makes me feel like there's something really harmonious. There's something about all your chakras are going to get way more aligned and more in tune. I feel like there's a step by step logical process to how 2021 is going to go for you, as long as you ground your energy and you don't get overwhelmed or you don't dissociate. So just stay practical, stay real, stay with one step, next step, and you're going to be in a really great position by the end of 2021. So here we have 5 of discs. Okay, so with this is definitely telling me that you're overcoming this kind of, it's something to do with your self-worth, 100%. 100% this is to do with your self-worth, but it's a lot deeper than just monetary. It's also about you really realizing that you have so much to give the world. like that you really are here to bring a certain message, do a certain thing, share yourself in some way with the world. And it's about you understanding that you, even if you might feel a bit different or a bit unusual, or you feel a bit the odd one out, or you feel like you don't always fit in, or you don't always feel like you've been the popular one, or whatever it might have been, because I feel like as well for this pile there's going to be quite a few of you, not all of you, but quite a few of you who maybe you felt like, I don't know if the word is outlanders, but you know, you're on the fringe basically. You're more maverick, you're more unusual, you're more unconventional. This kind of like Aquarius energy is coming in, and I think you're going to realize that actually this sort of the uniqueness, the quirkiness, the intelligentness, the having big visions for the future, but being very, very like mind-based, all of these sort of qualities are going to be massively valued by the world from now on in, basically from 2021 onwards, for 20-year cycle and a 200-year cycle. This is going to be like a major thing, and you're actually going to realize that you have so much to offer. So what I would say is, if you have any blocks on your, I want to say, worthiness, I think that's something that you will be absolutely removing, and you're also going to realize that you can lead in a different way to other people. You can be a very different pioneer in your industry, or even pioneer within your family lineage, or within your relationship, or whatever it might be. And you're going to get a lot of recognition because of that, and you'll receive a lot of support as you step into that more authoritative type of space. And like I say, I can really see that it's massively going to open up all of your psychic centers as a result of this. And again, a bit like pile number 2, I really feel like you guys will be able to really start tapping into the Akashic Records just without you probably even realizing. So then we have the 8 of Dis, which is the 8 of Pentacles. That's the second time we have got the 8 of Pentacles here. That feels very lucky. 8 is always known as a really good manifestation number, and I feel like 88, I've always loved the number 88. I don't know why, I just think it's a great one. That tells me there's a lot of abundance coming for you guys, but it is a process. I do want to tell you this right now. It's a journey. Remember, I've also spoken about this 3-year cycle that I can feel you guys are in, and 2021 is that first step, so just keep that in mind as well. I do really feel as well that it's really important. You know how we see this little lamb here? Always allow yourself to have softness. And I kind of feel like, I don't know why, but the bear always really reminds me of this too. Like, just allow yourself to make sure that you've always got softness going on, this kind of compassionate energy. I just think that this is going to be really important, and definitely a thing about not judging yourself is going to be really key as well. Because in some ways I get the feeling that some of you guys can be quite hard on yourself, and almost sort of like a perfectionist. It's sort of that sort of energy that's kind of coming through. But also more than that, it's kind of like you guys can really envision and imagine and see how it's possible for so much beauty to be available, even if it's just things from like looking after the environment to great ways that can, technology that can do that, to, I don't know, you have this great ability to really see long distance and to really kind of potentially pick up on trends. And I just feel like maybe sometimes your imagination doesn't really, reality can fall well short of your imagination. That's it. Reality can fall well short for your imagination, and sometimes I feel like it can make you feel frustrated and also despondent. But here with the lamb, I'm just hearing that in 2021 it's actually really important that you still keep some of that innocence relative to how you can envision a better life, a better future, I don't know, better things for humanity, whatever it might be. What I'm saying to you is keep that light lit in you, that belief and that ability to really visualize and see such great things coming, both in your life and also for I don't like collective consciousness. I think it's really important that you keep that open. I really, really do. Anyway, sorry, let's turn these all over now. So then we have the 10 of Wands here, okay, with the recognition. We have 5 of Cups. We have 7 of Wands. Wow, you guys have got the bear and the wolf in your spread. Really powerful. 2021 is definitely going to ask you to step up, but I feel there's a better word than that. So let me just find, oh wow, and then we have the Death card. I absolutely love this picture. I think the artwork of this deck is incredible. Okay, so just give me 1 second. You know, it's funny, something came up about an obstacle course in pile number 2. It's something non-related. And I do feel like with the bear and with the wolf, and you've even got 2 horses, I don't know. There's just the bear and the wolf that really make me really feel like, you know, you've gone through quite a lot. You've gone through loads of assault courses in your life. Do you know what I mean? Like having to jump through this street, then doing this, then doing that, then doing this, then back to beginning, then falling in the mud, then running in the rain. Like, you know, I'm just visualizing kind of, I can see the army training and doing their assault courses, and I feel like quite a bit of your life has been a lot like that. But the thing is, it's refining you, it's making you strong, it's making you be able to handle like a huge range of different experiences, and this is all something that you're really going to be able to capitalize on and actually just gain a lot of. This is where I feel like the universe is going to be recognizing you. It's kind of like going to be gaining a lot more abundance and wealth over these next 3 years when you remember to apply everything that you have experienced before. So all those assault courses, metaphorically, that life has got you to do ever since you were born, there's something about bringing all of that together. And I do feel like didn't I say as well in the channeling, there'll be like this culmination, there'll be like this resolution of something, and almost right at the end of your arc we actually also have the Death card, so something ending and something else beginning. And I do feel like that's something that's going to happen regardless, but it really is a case of the universe wants more for you than what you already have. And the universe also sees the visions that you see. So I don't know which visions you see, and obviously feel intuitively, be really honest with yourself. And I think as well, there is this thing about, and I'm coming back to that vision that we had about the assault course, like the army preparing and doing an assault course to get their fitness up, to get their teamwork up, probably their mental focus, push through boundaries, you know, all of this kind of thing. It kind of reminds me that you guys are well, it just keeps coming back about this thing about you've been in preparation for all of this energy and everything that's coming in your life. You've been in preparation for it for a while, but it's kind of like, you know, when sometimes things will get a little bit challenging, and I just want to point out they just will for everybody, but we'll all do it awesomely. And it is just life anyway. It's a natural ebb and flow. It's like seasons, summer and winter. It's all part of the process and the natural life experience. So yeah, so when things sometimes get difficult, I really feel like one thing that will really help you guys, and funny enough it is this bear and this wolf that are really popping out, is number one, I think there'll be somebody around you that can really support you, like really be supportive of you, and I can really feel that, and you can also equally be supportive of them. But the other thing as well that I really feel is it's having like this real purpose. You know, when you really feel like you have a purpose, it generally means that you can, it's so much easier to hold the course even when things get difficult, because there's almost like a burning desire for the thing which you are focusing on, which feels like your purpose. In the moment, on the day, for the year, in the lifetime, it doesn't matter exactly what that purpose is, but just that you really feel like you have a purpose, because that's really going to be a really great anchor for you in 2021. It's something around the vision that you have, like taking practical physical steps to create that vision and make it manifest is going to have a real anchoring effect on you. So regardless of what is going off in reality, and obviously with Saturn square Uranus, some things will be, explosive. things can change suddenly, that kind of energy, and there can be feelings of restriction and then liberation, and it's all a jumble of things while we all sort out this new energy. So you really having a purpose and a real focus, I think, will be something that's incredibly grounding for you. And as we talked about this before, grounding energy will be really, really important. Will be really, really important. And I felt this a lot for all of the air energies, to be honest with you. It just seems like something that is, don't know, significant. Now also something that's pointing out for me here as well that your Akashic Records want me to go into with the Three of Stones and the Death card. So Three of Stones is Three of Pentacles. I really feel like you guys are going to be having some kind of healing experience to do with collaboration and how you collaborate with others and how others collaborate with you. I feel like this is I feel like this is a part of the three-year journey as well, believe it or not. The thing that we channeled in the beginning, it isn't just that, by the way, but this is part of it. This 3-year journey is, I don't know, I feel like the more Uranus goes through your 8th house, Libra risings, and it kind of liberates you from old ancestral patterns and allows you to create a new identity to do with those patterns, one that is enhancing, life enhancing in some way. I just got this feeling that it's going to start changing how you collaborate with yourself, with other people, with groups, and with the world and life itself in general. And I just got a feeling that's really quite a big journey. And I'd be really interested to know where you're at with that journey by the end of 2021. But I still feel like there's going to be, I don't know, I think there'll be some interesting experiences to do with how you collaborate with others and how you let others collaborate with you. And definitely the more that you're stepping into this more kind of leadership role and leadership vibe within yourself too, the more that you're kind of stepping into that, the more that I also really feel that it's going to therefore be changing how you are collaborating with other people. And I do feel as well this sort of collaboration is part of this working progress too, that we have too with the 8 of Dis, or the 8 of Pentacles, 2 cards here doing that. I really, really feel and can see that that is that's something that's going to be an ongoing process for you. And it's this real balance, which obviously, guys, you were really into balance. But I also know that sometimes, you know, when a sign has a particular real quality, sometimes life always almost puts these people in more challenging situations because they have so much more potential within that range. And for you guys, I definitely really feel like balance and harmony is something that you can often get tested on, even though it might seem paradoxical because it's part of your innate energy systems, as it were. But just remember, whenever this happens, when there's a choice, whenever you're not sure about what to do, or whenever you feel out of balance or something's out of harmony, it doesn't make you feel good, just know that some of these situations are only really coming through because the High Priestess actually is saying, because you've got so far to go within this realm. You have so far to go within this realm. And so it's all part of this process, essentially. And I think it's you sort of trusting that process, which is going to be something incredibly powerful. So yeah, do remember that. And actually interesting, I really pulled to the High Priestess, because I don't know if you can see it here. Sorry, my autofocus is sort of going in and out. But there are 2 moons there. And that kind of makes me feel like you know, this thing about you guys wanting balance, you guys almost kind of sometimes wanting to please everybody, but the real energy is in the center. The real energy is in the center, and that's the High Priestess, and that is you. So going back to what we were saying before, like, it's really important. Well, actually, no, that was pile number 2, to be fair. Maybe you've got something in there, but it's a similar sort of message coming through, that it's just really important that you're focusing on you. And actually, when you are... This is when all the collaborations are really going to be coming through as well, when you're focusing on you, because people want to collaborate with you, with what you offer. It's not that you need to readjust yourself so that other people will collaborate with you. No, that's totally missing the point. People will collaborate with you because they are drawn to you and your abilities and your characteristics and your persona. And I think it's really about you guys really kind of understanding that. And that really leads us again back into this whole kind of thing about, you know, about recognition. Because recognition is definitely, it's definitely something that I don't feel like a lot of you have had in the way that is, let's say, funny enough, that is a vibrational match to you. Because, you know, my guides have told me these sort of things many times before. I think because all of us human beings have got more interested in energy and spirituality, in some ways I think we are only at like the tiny crust of what all of this is. And so, you know, things like you get a vibrational match for yourself and the law of attraction, my guides have always said to me, yes, but it is actually a lot more complex than that. And it is not a set formula of, if you vibrate at this frequency, then therefore you will attract this frequency. They're like, yes, it does, but also the more that you refine yourself and the more your energy field and your chakras open up and the 12 chakras get activated and all of this, the more dynamicness there is within that law of attraction. So depending on where you are on your self-growth and your life path journey and all of this will depend actually on how this so-called law of attraction is interacting with you. And it's not always as straightforward as you vibrate at this and you get this. And what I do really feel for you guys is you haven't often got the vibrational match of what and who you are, but I'm really hearing strongly from your Akashic Records that that's something that really you'll start by the end of 2021. By the end of 2021, you'll start to realize that, you know, that actually that's all changing. You'll start to see that just things really start to fall in alignment way more with you. Now, there is just one thing I just really want us to look at here. A bit more, because like I say, can you see the little Chiron? Don't know if you can wait for my camera to focus. That's it. There's a little there, and that's the sign for Chiron. And obviously we do know that Chiron is in your 7th house of relationships, Libra risings. So let me just pull a couple of cards on that because I just want to get a bit more info. Which cards? Because I know that obviously we all want to know about relationships for sure, and definitely you guys as Libras. I definitely can tell you instantly, it is really about asserting yourself more in relationships, not just romantic, but all one-on-one interactions. Like, it's again, just you got to think about the energy of the wolf and the bear. If you need to, maybe Google about the power animals of that, because it's really powerful, potent energy. But they are quite different energies, but they're highly, I don't know, they go really well together. Anyway, my guys are saying 2 cards and we don't read them reverse, so let's have a look. Okay, so we have basically we have, if you can see it here, I don't know why it's not focusing. Anyway, basically under here it says misdirected aggression, mistakes and pity. Okay, and that literally does look like Chiron, the wounded healer, because he was also half human, half horse. So it's kind of funny that we wanted to get the answer to do with Chiron, and basically what we get shown is the card Chiron. Also, this is the 7 of water, so okay, there's something around this about you're really not clear on your choices to do with some aspects of relationships, and I'm definitely hearing for a lot of you this is romantic relationships. I feel like there has been, oh man, I feel like you guys have worked really hard in the area of relationships, particularly romantic relationships. And I feel like, again, literally like what we were just saying, like what you are a vibrational match, as in who you are, how you're vibrating, you do not get that reflection back when you go into these romantic relationships. It's kind of, it's definitely like, and again, these words, they just keep coming out with your Akashic Records, like a work in progress is where stuff is done. But let me just get more information before we go fully into it. Okay, and then we get this card here. So this card says, it says minor sacrifices for something important. So to be honest, we've got 2 cards here that both very much have the energy, to be honest, of Chiron in that kind of way. So what this really feels like for me is that you, let me just feel into this. I think really be honest with yourself. Do you really know what you want in a relationships, in all of your relationships? But just for this, let's just call it romantic relationships. But bearing in mind, it can be any relationship, okay? It could be family, it could be work, it could be friend. It doesn't matter. It doesn't just have to be romantic. But do you truly really know what it is that you want in romantic relationships? Because I'm getting a really confused energy, and I don't want to use this word because I know it's a really triggering word, but it is the only word that's coming to my head. So brace yourself, because it's not that I feel that you are this in any way, but it's just this is the vibration of the word coming out, that because of the experiences that you've often had to do with romantic relationships, or for some of you it might just be a recent romantic relationship in some context, it's kind of left you in a bit of a victim vibration or state. It just feels like, not that you're vibrating as a victim, not at all, but just that you've been through a challenging situation, and I still feel like you're healing from it, or you're in the process of healing from it. And it does feel like, again, this is a work in progress, because it's right near the card that we have here with the Eight of Pentacles, which we know which is always working. But I do just feel, wait, let me just get a bit more on this, because we've got to get, we don't just want to know what's been going on, we want to know what you guys can do about this. Number one, I do really think, get clear, get focused about what it is that you do really want, and be really honest with yourself about what you do really want. Maybe one of the ways that you guys can do this is, because I know that you're really good at like exploring your minds, is ask yourself, once you think you know what you want, then ask yourself why you think that you want that thing. And I think the more that you can almost brainstorm around your wants and maybe even needs in a romantic relationship, the more that you'll start to understand, fully enough, yourself more, and definitely the universe and your spirit guides will understand more what it is that you do really want, because the power really is with you guys, Libra, in 2021, 100%. So it is, I think as well, I do have to just say this, because it very much reminds me of the astrology, and it's coming out of your Akashic Records. Be mindful. Have you attracted a lot of people that in some way or other have some kind of similar pattern to either a family member or a family dynamic? And also be careful, because you could do something where you flip between, it's the same, let's say it's the same theme, but you flip from one extreme to the other extreme, in which case you get seemingly different people coming into your life romantically. Only if you really looked at it, you would understand that they all came through that same almost storyline, only just one of them is at a different spot of the storyline to someone else. So for example, let's use this one. You could go with, I'm seeing something where you might have a partner where one could have been a victim, one could have been a villain, and one could have some way been like a savior, and that's how they interacted with you. But you know those three things, victim, villain, savior, that all is a very similar psychological dynamic. In fact, you need all three components usually to even have one of them. To have a victim, you need to have like a villain, you know what I mean? To have the victim, to have a savior, you also need to have a victim. Do you see what I mean? There's this kind of like play around. So you maybe just want to have a real look into, get technical about this. Get really technical when you're looking into your relationship dynamics, because I'm seeing that there's a lot to be gained by this. And definitely with Chiron in your 7th house and one-on-one relationships. And then literally I mention Chiron here because I can see the sign, and then literally we pull the card, which is literally Chiron. I do really feel like that is it's definitely something for you to definitely consider and feel into, because I feel like there's quite a lot that you could get from that. But anyway, now let's just see what you can do from this. What can you do about this? So we're not going to read them reversed apparently. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, so the first card that we have here is we have persevering against incredible odds, survival. And obviously that looks quite full on. But wait, let's just see what's going on further. And then also in this card, we have, sorry, I'm trying to get it to focus. I don't understand why it's just doing this. There we go. On this card, we have defeat, loss, disdain, humility. Okay, so what can you do about all of this in relationships? Okay, the first thing that I'm really getting with this card about surviving, persevering against all odds, I think there really is something about you, a bit like with the sacrifice card that was this one over here. I really do think there's something about, be honest with yourself about when it's time to move on from something, and also when it is time to just really work through something. I think you have to gain some discernment, and I think the more you understand about what you really want in relationships, the more that you'll understand where to go with that. So I think that's one thing to really consider. When is it time to walk away? Because I know so many times, Libra, you guys, you just want to make everything right. You want to make everything harmonized. You want to make everything balanced. But obviously sometimes that's not, let's just say that maybe that's not even part of the divine plan, you know what I mean? So no matter how much you try, it just won't play out in that way. Now, I'm not saying that that's always the case, because we have free will, but we also have fate, right? So there's these mixture of things. So definitely understanding, I think, when to move on from something. I also want to say that this, you could apply this as well to a work situation, you know, really anything in your life. I definitely think it's about understanding like when to move on. Because also when I look at that as well, you know, now when I look at this card here, it makes me think, it kind of makes me think, look, if he'd have moved on quicker, would he have got so many thorns or so many arrows, like, basically into his body? If it had moved off rather than hanging around, would those arrows have been able to do that to him? You know, so there's something about that that's going off there. And then also with this card here about the defeat, loss, disdain, humility, I think it's really understanding maybe when you're looking back at certain situations, and let's say relationship again, but it also could not be. It could be work. It could be anything really, where you've really, really tried to make something work and you've put a lot into it, but it's not actually worked out for whatever reason. I feel like it's something about you using positive psychology when you reassess what happened in the past. That's it. Now, again, it's not about you just being all love and light and just making out like it's all amazing. It's about you being realistic about what it is that you're seeing, but at the same time, it's sort of, it's making sure that you still feel good by the end of your self-assessment of the past, particularly to do with relationships. And I'm hearing as well, if for whatever reason you're finding that difficult, you've absolutely got a few friends that can completely help you with that. All you have to do is ask for help, ask for support with that. So yeah, that is interesting. Right, let's just get a few more. Let's get some oracle cards. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put these under here because they feel very specifically related to that. Okay, just get the message as well. Ooh, two. So obviously we look at these channeled messages in the extended. Okay, so these sound abstract, but it's really interesting how they play out in the end. So what we have here is, it basically says, the dancer never leaves home without the right shoes. So we'll go into that in the extended. Whoa, that one definitely wants to come out. And then let's just get one more of these. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So we have, but I feel like I can bring them all down here. Okay, we have here, oh wow, I can be trusted. So funny, since obviously we'd been talking about you need to trust yourself as well. So I can be trusted. Then we have here, shine your light. I love these cards, they're gorgeous. Oh man, I don't know why it's not focusing. It's not done this on any of the other videos, that's so bizarre, but anyway. And then we have here, oh wow, the sound of the universe. And then we have here, oh wow, the Shaman, trust in the higher forces. We keep getting a reoccurring word right now about trust. I don't know. And then here we have spirit of gratitude. See if I can... Yeah, sorry about this, guys. I've got no idea why the autofocus isn't working at the moment. Cool, so what we'll do is we'll go into all of this in the extended. We'll also channel this crystal to see what's going on. We'll go into all of these oracle cards here, and we'll also go into your channeled message, the dancer never leaves home without the right shoes. Cool, so I hope you've enjoyed that reading so far. Obviously take what resonates, don't worry about anything that does not. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook on abigailgracepsychic.com, and if you'd like to get this extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. Also check out my other YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic. I post lots of different kind of things on there. You might actually find the highest potential of the Libra archetype interesting, so check that out if you feel called to. It's been my pleasure to read for you so far. I've really enjoyed it. I see lots of recognition coming your way, stepping into leadership, a big change of something really coming to an end that's been really draining, and therefore something new on the horizon. And I do feel like 2021, 2022, 2023, they've all got this you're on a real journey with all of them. So cool, I'll speak to you soon. Bye. So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for, so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings, so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon.